Sua segunda pátria.
The only thing that matters in a wine is what gives you pleasure, what you enjoy, and what you find fun and interesting.
Depois de Mondovino, de Jonathan Nossiter, ter vergastado sem piedade a globalização do vinho, levada a cabo por produtores como Robert Mondavi, por enólogos como Michel Rolland e pelo crítico norte-americano Robert Parker, um outro filme promete agora atirar mais achas para a fogueira da polémica. Falamos de Escaping Robert Parker, escrito e realizado pelo norte-americano Ed Burley. O filme de Burley, apresentado este mês no Douro Film Harvest, traça o percurso de Julian, um jovem produtor que tenta fugir à tenaz da crítica de Robert Parker.
Consumers like to hold on to standards like Robert Parker, who's probably the most successful wine rating system, but I think wine rating systems are dead anyways.
A Hora de Baco falou com o realizador em Gaia, nas instalações da Calem, na antestreia do filme.
Is it your first time in Portugal?
Yes, I arrived about 4 hours ago from New York City.
Is it your first work about wine?
It is. I came to this as a storyteller, really more from the fiction side. And to me, it was really a great story. And it started out as a story about winemakers who had dreams about making the wine they wanted to make and getting it directly to people and not feeling like they had to go through this kind of machine that was the wine status quo, right? And as the project grew, it really became kind of a broader look at the wine industry and Robert Parker as a force in the wine industry, and then at a number of people who were trying to kind of escape his influence by making wine without thinking about him or selling it without feeling like they had to get ratings by him, or people who felt like there were independent new ways to make wine or to promote wine, to sell wine, to talk about wine in a new way, and not just to go through the established way of let's turn things over to Parker and let him do the work. And so it's interesting. One of the things that was really great, I think, is how as we traveled, we were in Beijing, New York, all over France. You know, Parker he's so woven into the fabric of the wine industry that we kept running into him. So we were in China, and we were on the Great Wall of China, and we found out 2 nights earlier he had been right there hosting a dinner. And so at every step of the way, there was this kind of crossing paths with each other, which kind of said that we were on the right track with our idea.
It's a kind of God in the wine.
Yeah, right.
And how is important? His work has been much important.
Yeah, you know, and this, for me, it was really, the point of the project was not to single out Parker for attack. That wasn't really my approach. My approach was more for what's happening in the industry. What are these new folks trying to do in the wine industry? And to take a look at what Parker's role in the industry is. And I think even this idea of kind of getting beyond what his legacy might be, it's important to understand him and respect him. And one of the things is Parker brought a great amount of rigor to winemaking and to wine judging. And I think the whole industry has benefited from that. So now if we're at a point where it's better for the industry and better for the consumer to not have one dominant person, there's still a legacy of rigor that he brought to to wine judging and wine making that I think everyone is benefiting from.
Is here. He is, as you know, the most powerful wine critic in the world. Some say the most powerful critic in the world, period. Really, for the first time in the history of winemaking, is that young people can come in and make really extraordinary wine. I mean, commit their hearts and souls to making something very special.
In the United States, you are a great wine producer, especially in California.
Right.
Do you know well the American wines?
Pretty well. I mean, and for this, for the documentary, we were fortunate enough to talk to a winemaker in California, Mills Savengi, who received the first 100-point rated wine by Parker ever. I believe it was the Groth 85 Cabernet. And so he was able to tell us what that experience was like for him. It was a great source of pride to be the first person in California to get the 100-point rating from Parker. And I think one of the things that's interesting about the whole rating system, as human beings, whenever there's a goal or a standard to aim for, we seem to focus in on it. So it's very interesting to talk to winemakers in California and other places who found themselves dreaming about earning a 100-point rating, even though they personally didn't believe in a perfect wine.
I'm not oblivious to the fact that if you were to give a good rating, it would help the business. It's not required, it's not necessary.
Did you like the experience of doing such a movie about wine?
I really did. You know, I really did. I mean, it was very, I think documentary filmmaking, you know, fiction filmmaking, you never really know what you're in for. And originally I was going to make a movie about one winemaker and over within a calendar year, and then I kind of got sucked into the quicksand of documentary filmmaking and the complexity of wine too, in the wine industry. And I ended up spending much longer on that. But I think also the film became something broader too. I think the film became something about what's happening with the wine industry and in wine worldwide now. And it's always more exciting to feel like you're making a film or talking about something that that people across the globe can be interested in and find interesting. And so that's been a satisfying part of the movie. Yeah.
Did Robert Parker see the movie yet?
Well, it's a good question. You know, it's a good question. We after this festival, we're going to do a couple more things to the film, and then I'm going to reach out to him and send him a copy. I think that I'm not afraid to have Parker see the movie, because I think the movie is a fair look at the wine industry. And my goal was never to demonize Robert Parker. I have a lot of respect for, again, the rigor he's brought to things and what he's been able to achieve with starting the Wine Advocate. I saw my job as coming as somewhat of an outsider to wine, the formal wine industry, more as a storyteller.
It's completely insane. When I speak to other farmers, who are like toiling in soil, making good wines, they're flabbergasted. Wine producers don't get it.
You are here in Douro,
Yeah.
the older classified region in the world. So in advance, we thank you for the movie about wine.
Okay, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you.
Na terceira parte da Hora de Baco desta semana, voltaremos ao Douro Film Harvest para conversarmos com Zev Robinson, um canadiano que meteu ombros a um documentário sobre a história da mais antiga região demarcada do mundo, o Douro Vinheteiro.